I'm here with Bob Ward in Orlando at Live 360, and we're going to talk about SQL Server and community, and that's coming up next. Bob, thanks so much for taking some time.
Yeah,
I just sat in your keynote.
Yeah, thanks. We're in the speaker room now, right? So,
we're in the speaker prep room here at the 360 Live 360.
It's my first one.
It's mine.
Never been here before.
I've been doing past summits for a long time.
Sure.
And some related events, but this is a nice little conference.
I like
We're live. We're actually sitting here.
Is it appropriate that we would come back to live to do live, right? So
right.
Yeah, it was really a pleasure to be in the keynote and actually see faces of people. It's something. I've been doing virtual presentations for a while now since the pandemic hit, and that's always been a great experience, right? But to see people live and then see their interactions as you speak and how they react to it, it's been kind of a nice thing.
Yeah. We've been challenged over the last year and a half or so in trying to replicate that same environment in virtual events. How has that worked?
For us, it's worked okay. It's been difficult. We actually transformed very quickly. A good example is the Azure SQL workshop. We started working on cloud. I just launched SQL 19. Spent a lot of time on that, wrote a book, did all this stuff in 19.
I have your book.
Okay, so in early 20, I wanted to spend more time on the Azure SQL space. So what we did is we built a workshop and we were going to hit the road with it. We were going to do hands-on training with the workshop on the road. We said, we can't do that obviously right now. What do we do? We partnered with the Learn team, Microsoft Learn team, to build a complete online workshop with a free Azure sandbox. You have to pay for it. And that was wildly successful. So a lot of people would go on. And then we did a bunch of video series to complement it and those kind of things. So it was great. And we got a lot of feedback from it. And we would present at virtual conferences talking about it. And people would chat with us online. But at this event, we taught that hands-on for the first time yesterday.
Awesome. Wow!
Yesterday, first time ever hands-on, and
that's on SQL Server 2019.
This is on Azure SQL, actually.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Azure SQL. Yes, thank you.
But the difference is the experience was amazing because they're actually on their laptop trying it, and we see their reaction of them trying it. Right? Virtually, I can't see that. Right? But they were there, and we would stop by and go, "You got this?" And they're looking like, "Yeah, I get it. Thank you." Right? So. Yeah, I love the virtual concept. I was doing virtual things already before the pandemic hit, but it was a balance. It was some virtual online things. And by the way, that can be powerful because some people can't come to an event, obviously. Or maybe a company will allow them for travel expenses. So I am definitely going to continue that model. I just want to balance it with getting back a little bit, do things live. So
I think we're all looking forward to kind of settling at what that balance is going to be.
Yeah, of course.
No doubt the pandemic has changed business.
Yeah,
I don't think we're ever going to go back to where we were. And I don't know, what do you think the biggest change is as we go forward in the next year or two?
As far as change, you mean as far as like a workplace or work? It's hard to say. Microsoft, one of the things we did is we actually hired a lot of people during the pandemic, but we were more flexible to hire them not located in Seattle. I was kind of an exception to the rule for the engineering team, working in Texas, but still working for the engineering team. Then I would travel up there once a quarter or something to meet with the team. And what we've done is hired a lot of different people, though, in different parts of the country, even the world, that are not required to live in Seattle anymore, right? But still effective from where they are. It requires a discipline to do that, to work remotely. And I think there's this balance of people that can do that full time but still need some interaction. I was in the Seattle campus a couple of weeks ago. I actually went back there for the first time since February 2020, and we had a combination of hybrid, virtual, and in-person meetings. And some of the folks had not been in-person meetings for a while. And they said, "Hey, I got to get back to doing some of that." So I think their goal was to maybe come in 2-3 days a week for some meetings, one-on-one actions, coffee break type things, but then the rest of the time have the flexibility to kind of work from home, kind of meeting the needs of their family life and work balance. So I think that's what I see, is I see some people flipping more to where it used to be like maybe you work from home like every once in a while. Now you work from home a little balance more with going into maybe an office structure.
So as I've been traveling around and interviewing people, I interviewed Matthew Roach, who lives in Bothell, and Chris Finland, who lives in Sammamish, right there around the Redmond area.
Right.
And just a couple of months ago, they said, we haven't been in the office for months.
Right.
We live right here next to the mothership, and Redmond's a ghost town. The campus.
And when I was there, it felt a little like that. They're doing a big construction there, by the way, so it's not going to be completely. It's not going to.
There are cranes all over.
Yeah, in fact, it's if you work from home, like you're not at an office structure, office structure gives you those breaks almost, almost forces you to do that in a way, right? Driving and some of that stuff. So I've really encouraged some folks that are younger, mentored them some on this aspect, going, hey, get up in the morning and go drive to Starbucks and get a coffee and come back. They're like, why would I do that? I'm like, because you're giving it that same breathing room like you did. You don't wake up and just look at your phone or your computer. Yeah. You're actually driving there, taking a break like you would do at the office, and then you come back and start working.
So you're talking about how important it is to disconnect and to be able to kind of draw that line
a little bit,
between,
yeah, a break,
your work life and the rest of your life.
Exactly. And driving to an office gave a lot of people that break, even though it's traffic.
Sure,
you hate that, but your brain is not just lasered in, on reading your computer. And then, for example, at Microsoft, coffee's a big thing in Seattle, as you may know.
Yes.
So people would say, hey, let's go get a coffee at the proper coffee barista thing. That's like a 15-minute break for you to walk with your friend, just chat informally. Maybe you design some stuff or solve some problems, but you're away from your computer. You're just kind of physically doing an activity, and then you come back and start working again. So I was encouraging younger people, do that. Like, what are you talking about? I said, well, go meet a colleague in the Seattle area, a Starbucks or a coffee area. Y'all go meet for like 15, 20 minutes, have a chat, go back home.
Yeah.
You're like, oh.
So and coffee break, no computer.
So some people have taken that advice and they say they're doing much, much better. Because again, they're just waking up at 7 a.m. on their computer, and 7 at night they're stopping, and they just can't keep up that pace.
So how do you disconnect from work?
Well, because I'm blessed. I live in a sunny place, Texas, right? So I like to walk and exercise. So I often will literally, like at 2 o'clock in the afternoon or something, in between these meetings, if I have like an hour break, I'll do a walk. I've got a really nice park where I live. I actually have 3 acres of land where I live, so I will get out and mess with my yard. I'll go walk or do something. I'll just get away. I have a home office. I'll just get away from the home office. Doesn't matter what it is. Go run an errand, whatever it is, right? I also, one thing I do not do is I do not wake up at 7 a.m. or whatever and go right into my office, look at my computer. I just don't do that. I talk to my wife, have a conversation, maybe get some coffee. I actually have a local coffee place. So there's a local coffee place during the pandemic that when things shut down, I wanted to support them. And they have a drive-through window. So I would drive up there and get their coffee. Never done it before. And I've been doing it ever since March of 2020, every morning.
It's good to
they know me. They're like, oh, they just have the coffee waiting for me. It's a way for me to get out of the house. It takes about a 10-minute drive to get up there. I come back. I still am kind of like refreshed. And then I start diving into work.
Awesome. Yeah. Well, Bob, I appreciate your energy and your drive. I've learned so much from you.
I appreciate it.
As we've interviewed people and talked to a number of people, your name comes up a lot.
Well, that's so nice.
Well, and folks like we've talked about Adam Sachs.
Yeah, what a cool guy, right?
And it's you with
guy in a cube.
Kind of being the the catalyst for getting him into community and speaking. And,
such a great person. But by the way, let's set the record straight. I was the guy in the cube, not him. Did he tell you that? No, literally, I was called a guy in a cube because, hey, I didn't say, people think, well, Bob, you're a big and important deal. I'm like, I'm just a guy in a cube.
Okay, this is the first guy in a cube.
I was the first guy in a cube, and then Adam was like, I want to borrow that. I'm like, you can take on the mantle. You're the guy in the cube. So,
that's awesome. Yeah. That's a great
funny story.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it. That is a true story.
Okay. Well.